So take a breather and join Sabrina every Thursday on KUAM TV and streaming anytime on our digital platform.
KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus reminds you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads up, Guam. IP&E Fueling Excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant. Always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up now on Prime Time, 2 notices of violation are issued to a property owner who is MIA. Plus, the brothers in the Manila Machete attack have been sentenced. And after closing last month, the Dedio pool is set to reopen on Friday.
Hafaday, good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency is trying to issue 2 separate notices of violations to a property owner in Tumon. But as Sabrina Salas-Montanani reports, he's been nowhere to be found since September of last year.
It's been since July of last year. Guam EPA has had its eye on this eyesore in Tumon.
Letters of warning were issued to Mr. Su on how to take corrective action and how to come into compliance. He was given a timeline as to when all of that was to be completed. That timeline has since lapsed.
The owner of this parking garage in Tumon, David Su, was ordered to clean it up. The trash, however, continues to pile up, and Guam EPA is ready to issue a notice of violation. The problem, according to spokesperson Nick Lee,
we are having a problem getting in touch with the respondent to formally issue the notice of violation and the orders of compliance. We are looking to send by certified mail or possibly work with the court system, the judiciary, to see if there's anything that can be done to make sure that the respondent is properly notified. So again, we don't come into these types of scenarios very often. Typically when a respondent, whether you are a federal contractor or a private company or a local government agency, if you receive a notice of violation from us, we usually have a open line of communication with the respondent. That is not happening in this case with Mr. Su. So there's a complete disregard for our regulatory authority going on, complete disregard for the environment.
The Guam Environmental Protection Agency isn't only looking for Mr. Su to issue a notice of violation for his parking lot property, but also to issue a notice of violation for his wasteland here at the Verona Resort.
According to Lee, Su faces a $1,000 fine per day per violation. We should add that he's also been in trouble with Guam EPA in the past, having been issued NOVs in 2016 and 2014, also related to solid waste violations.
It'd be very wise for the respondent or any of his associates to come into compliance, contact us and work with us on getting this cleaned up.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas-Montanani.
Those convicted of so-called revenge porn can now also face civil litigation. Acting Governor Josh Tenorio signed into law legislation by Senator Mary Torres that allows victims of unauthorized disclosure of intimate images to sue for up to $10,000 in damages. The law also protects victims' identities in court proceedings and allows them to recover attorneys' fees and costs. A news release states that while revenge pornography has been a crime under Guam law since 2016, lawmakers recognize that it is deeply inadequate due to the clear economic consequences of victimization, such as unemployment, therapy, psychological support, relocation expenses, and legal fees. The repair and renovation of the long-defunct Southern High School auditorium is being proposed using tax credits as an incentive for a public-private partnership. Bill sponsored by Senator James Moylan says the facility has been inoperable for years due to the lack of workable air conditioning unit. And under the provisions of the bill, private entities would be able to contribute up to $1 million, but no more than $500,000 a year in tax credits would be allowed. Moylan says the tax credit program is similar to one used to rehabilitate the Harmon Industrial Park roadway. And another person comes forward in that's sexually abused by Father Louis Brulard. The latest complaint was filed against the Boy Scouts by an individual identified in court documents as PPP to protect his identity. He is 55 years old, but alleges that when he was around 12 years old, Brulard sexually assaulted him during a Boy Scout outing to the L'Enfant River. The priest, who is now deceased, was also a scoutmaster for the Boy Scouts. PPP is seeking damages and attorney fees of no less than $5 million. The deceased Father Louis Brulard is also accused of raping an individual only identified as RRR to protect his identity. RRR was an altar boy at the Old Oradot Church and a Boy Scout. Father Brulard is accused of forcefully raping him several times when he was a minor. Court documents allege the sexual molestation affected him in that he quit going to school, ran away from home, and was living on the streets. He became a juvenile delinquent, and he felt safer in the DYA than risk encountering Father Brulard on the streets. RR is seeking a trial by jury and no less than $5 million in damages. And Chief Judge Francis Hidinko Gatewood granted former Department of Corrections Officer Eugene Sunega's request for a 30-day continuance. Sunega was arrested back in 2017 for smuggling drugs into the Manguilao prison, and after entering a plea agreement, he was placed on supervised release. Today in court, it was stated Sunega had violated his release conditions by failing to appear for drug testing. His attorney, Assistant Public Defender Brianna Kotke, told the court that at the last hearing, Sunega switched methods of testing because of his work schedule. He cannot perform urine analysis. Sunega now does sweat patch testing, and they are awaiting the lab results. The U.S. Office of Probation agreed with the defense's request for continuance in order to show the court he can comply with the conditions. The government did not object, and the court scheduled answering for March 30th. In Superior Court, Guam National Guard recruiter Jason Siswico's cases may soon be consolidated as his attorney Randy Cunliffe told the court he plans to file a motion. Siswico faces the same charges for both of his cases. He was indicted for allegedly raping a minor on 2 separate occasions. Siswico faces charges of criminal sexual conduct as a first-degree felony and 2 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct as a first-degree felony. As of today, both of Siswico's cases will be before Judge Maria Senzon, as it was Judge Michael Bordalio's last day on the Superior Court bench. As we reported, Your Honor was appointed the new federal court magistrate's judge. And the 2 brothers found guilty for the Manguilao Machete attack were sentenced in Superior Court. Jordan Rachulap will serve 12 years with Emmanuel Resalap to serve double that. During the sentencing hearing, Emmanuel's attorney, Samuel Tecker, brought to light what he called an injustice on Guam. Here's more.
I read about the Youth Correction Act, and my dad, a long time ago when I first became a lawyer, and I asked him about it, and he said, throw that piece of junk in the garbage because it's not worth anything, and I never looked at it. He said the so-and-so legislature passes these laws that are enacted but never fulfilled.
In 1965, the Youth Correction Act was passed by the Guam legislature and became law. Attorney Sam Tecker says it was never implemented, and according to the act, it's due to a lack of facilities.
And I'm saddened by the fact that the legislature passes laws and that these laws are on the books, but they can't be followed.
Tecker represents 19-year-old Emmanuel Resalap, one of the young brothers who faced the most extreme amount of prison time for the June 2019 Machete attack. Emmanuel and his brother, 25-year-old Jordan Rachulap, were found guilty by a jury and convicted of various felony charges related to terrorizing, criminal mischief, and aggravated assault. During their sentencing hearing, the government asked for significant time in jail of 46 years for Emmanuel and 15 years for Jordan. Attorney Tecker told the court that on the day of these 2 young men's sentencing, he asked for a break in order to read the act during their recess.
And the reason why I wanted the break was just because it applies to these 2 gentlemen sitting to the right of me. It talks about a lot of things about kids from 18 to 25 and how they should be treated going to prison.
It's on this basis Attorney Tecker argued for a 10-year sentence for his client. The act is meant to provide treatment, facilities, and personnel for committed youth offenders and ensure their safety while locked up. As well, the DOC director can enter orders for the release under supervision condition terms.
He's only 19. He's a year away or 2 years away from being able to be treated as a juvenile. Child molesters, kingpin drug dealers get 10 years.
Tecker adds that after the jury reached its verdict over 2 months ago, Emmanuel was sent to Post 6 in the Manguilao compound.
I guess I suppose before the trial he was at a Ganya where it was more relaxed and whatnot. It's definitely no cakewalk over there. But Post 6 is with really, really hardened old criminals. Ishizaki and the governor agreed. I put that in my exhibit that it's inhumane up there. I mean, in Post 6, it floods, the sewage, the cockroaches.
Bringing up the inhumane conditions issue that recently has been brought forward through a motion and declaration by the federal public defender on behalf of 9 inmates and detainees at the Agana Detention Center. In addition, Tucker argues that Emmanuel and Jordan never had an opportunity to accept responsibility or receive treatment, stating the government never offered a deal and they had no other choice but to go to trial. And during the sentencing hearing, Emmanuel, Jordan, and their mother apologized for their actions. The victim, Urson Resalap, also took the stand and said he forgives his cousin, Emmanuel, for cutting him with the machete and asked the court for leniency.
And that's what Guam needs. And I mean, that's why I was saying there about an opportunity, instead of just throwing them away and giving up on it.
Tucker says the opportunity is here through the revitalization of the Scared Straight program, or the creation of an educational system to teach the younger generation of what is right and wrong.
That's without a doubt. In 5 years.
6 children found unattended in deplorable conditions have led to an arrest of a man and woman. 27-year-old Victoria Rose San Nicolas and 49-year-old Manuel Guerrero Aflagui. Aflagui were arrested and charged with child abuse. Aflagui also faces a family violence charge. Police responded to the initial child abuse complaint on January 23rd in Telefofo. A witness reported a 5-year-old child screaming in pain because she was being spanked in a room. San Nicolas told the witness Aflagui spanked the child because she used up all the shampoo. The witness also said she saw the child run out crying, still wet and naked. The witness also reported the children were being disciplined in an abusive manner, but were too scared to tell anyone, and that Aflagui threatened to kill her if she didn't leave the house. The following day, the children were found in a dilapidated shack in Mangilao. Police noticed that the shack did not have a door and that there were large cockroaches running around. The children were found sleeping on dirty mattresses, chairs, and a car seat, and even the bare floor, and there were no adults present. In other news, and this is good news for pool patrons, as the Dededo Pool will resume operations beginning tomorrow, February 14th. Public Health cleared Department of Parks and Recreation to open the pool after the agency voluntarily closed the pool last month. The new hours of operation for the Dededo Pool is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Tuesday to Sunday, and closed on Mondays. According to DPR Director Richard Ibanez, we appreciate the public's patience and apologize for any inconvenience this has caused. The safety of all our pool patrons is our top priority. It was last week Friday that an oversight hearing was held about the condition and upkeep of the Hagåtña and Dededo pools. Committee Chair Senator Kelly Marsh Taitano has since introduced a bill allowing tax credit to be used to repair both public pools. And coming up on Prime Time, the latest with Guam's only public hospital. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now. KUAM News Headlines is presented by
Let us help you celebrate those special people in your life on the Cold Stone Birthday Club. Weeknights on KUAM News Primetime, KUAM News Weekend Edition, and KUAM Radio. One lucky celebrant will receive a birthday cake from Cold Stone Creamery every week, and their lucky nominator will receive a gift certificate from the Cold Stone Yogurt Dessert Bar as well. Visit KUAM.com to register your celebrant's birthday. You must also send an email with the name of the celebrant and their date of birth, as well as a single close-up photo to birthdayclub@KUAM.com. All submissions must be compliant with KUAM regulations and must be received 2 days prior, but no later than noon Chamorro Standard Time on the day of the birthday on weekdays, and noon on Friday if a weekend birthday. See KUAM.com for additional regulations.
The Birthday Club is presented by KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery and Yogurt Dessert Bar.
My family is on whole home Wi-Fi powered by Plume.
Since we installed the Docomo whole home Wi-Fi, what did you guys notice about it?
When you pull up the driveway, it automatically connects, and I don't have to get out of my car right away and come upstairs to go on my phone.
My favorite thing is that it doesn't buffer when I'm watching YouTube.
My favorite thing is that when Addie calls now, there's no lag. Like before, it used to be where I couldn't see her sometimes and I have to hang up and then call her back, and now I don't have to do that.
You know what's a good thing too is that when you come over to visit, I could give you your own password. I can assign a time limit so that I can say that you can only be on it for 1 hour. So that means you won't get in trouble from your mom.
And then you can go home.
The thing that I love the most is that I can freeze the internet for periods of time so that we can enjoy dinner time like this. Why are you rolling your eyes? So I'll turn it back on after dinner.
Whole home Wi-Fi powered by Plume. Docomo Pacific, better together.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
The Centers for Disease Control says the U.S. should be prepared for the coronavirus to gain a foothold. For now, there are 13 confirmed cases in the U.S., but the number continues to grow in China and on a cruise ship being held at a Japanese port. Michael George has the latest.
The mood is darkening aboard the Diamond Princess, quarantined off Japan. Coronavirus continues to sweep through the cruise ship, with at least 175 infections so far. Passengers say they're being treated well, but after 9 days at port, the strain is growing.
One of the passengers in the night were keeping other passengers awake, an old lady who was crying for a couple of hours in her cabin. Life isn't as easy as it was last week.
The Centers for Disease Control confirmed the 13th case in the U.S. was diagnosed in San Diego. Because of a labeling error, the woman, who'd been evacuated from China, was briefly released from the hospital. The CDC says it has taken steps to prevent that mistake from happening again.
The test itself was accurate. The issue was that the test wasn't run when we thought it had been.
China now confirms nearly 45,000 cases of coronavirus and more than 1,100 deaths. But the government says the infection rate is falling, triggering questions on Capitol Hill.
How comfortable are you with the numbers that are coming out of China?
Lawmakers discussed whether China is underplaying the crisis to protect its economy.
I don't trust the reporting in China. We're getting a skewed view of the case fatality rate and how severe this is.
The World Health Organization says the virus outside China appears to be less aggressive, which may provide an opportunity to contain the spread.
Here at home, the Centers for Disease Control is sending a test kit to Guam that will allow public health to do coronavirus testing here instead of sending potential specimens to the mainland. Public Health Director Linda DeNorsi says the kit should arrive within the next 2 weeks.
When we initiated the coronavirus, it was because CDC required us to be able to ship it to them to Atlanta, Georgia. That has all changed now since they finally developed the kit, and they have given the kit to certain states, and Guam was included as one of those states.
She says the kits are in great demand across the country, and Guam was fortunate to get one. It didn't hurt that DeNorsi has connected with 2 top CDC officials who have also visited Guam.
Because we're in a very strategic location, and Guam being a territory of the United States, we're very fortunate to have it. And Dr. Jose Montero did visit Guam, and so did Bill Gallo, so I had a very good relationship with them. Also, when I went to Atlanta, Georgia, I met them personally.
DeNorsi says lab equipment that's needed in order to use the lab kits are also ready.
That machine has already been recalibrated. As of yesterday, Thermo Fisher confirmed everything was good to go, and so the machine is ready to operate.
But Dr. Vince Akamoto, who hosted a public health briefing at his American Medical Clinic in Manila, was concerned that the machines may have been down for months, and DeNorsi had to tap other connections in the industry to get them fixed.
We're supposed to be a sentinel laboratory. But they've been broken, and the reagents haven't been ordered, and public health has done a terrible job of maintaining very expensive pieces of very sophisticated molecular biology equipment.
But DeNorsi says they were disconnected when a fire shut down public health's main lab in Manila indefinitely.
They were just turned off, and then we wanted to preserve them, so we had them immediately transferred out of the public health and placed in one of the vendors' location till we can move to our new space.
Akamoto says another concern is the lack of data collection on influenza in general. He provided copies of weekly U.S. influenza reports that don't show any Guam information.
One of the real infuriating things about this is that influenza virus, which kills maybe more people than coronavirus on any given day, we are not testing for. The only people testing for it are labs like ours.
The flu data is important, he says, quote, "You can't fight what you can't see." For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
A task force has been created to recommend to the governor what should ultimately be done at the Guam Memorial Hospital. The Army Corps of Engineers is completing an assessment of the deteriorating building to determine if it should be salvaged. Nestor Lecanto reports.
The task force, established by a public law sponsored by Minority Leader Tello Taidegui, calls for the group to come up with planning and financing proposals. Speaker Tina Barnes tapped Senator Will Castro as her representative. He was the head of a similar effort under the Calvo administration called the Hospital Management Advisory Team. They recommended tearing down a major wing and rebuilding it to house better revenue-generating outpatient services.
The Z-Wing was a big part of that strategy. At the time, it appeared to be most feasible to demolish Z-Wing and reconstruct Z-Wing so that it can house these centers of excellence that would produce revenue in accordance with the pay structures that was permissible.
But there is growing resolve to tear the whole building down and build a new hospital, with costs estimated at upwards of $200 million.
I think that's the best investment we can make, is a new facility, whether you demolish parts of the existing one, whether you completely construct another one, or whether you step out of that sandbox and work in partnership with a local hospital, a private hospital, and see how we can work a hybrid plan to work with them.
And while Castro expects the task force will consider all options,
the question of the day, actually the question of the remainder of this term for the 35th, is going to be, do we float a bond? And if so, all things considered, how do we afford the payback?
And then there's the question of where to build a new facility. Mangilao has been suggested, where it can be integrated with UOG as a teaching hospital. Moving also makes sense, considering the current property overlooking Tumon is extremely valuable and can draw big revenue from potential developers.
What we cannot afford is to allow things to proceed as it currently is.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
GMH has received a draft of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers assessment, although according to GMH Administrator Lillian Posadas, they are unable to publicize the findings since it remains in draft format. She tells KUAM it must first be finalized for review and approval by the Department of Interior's Office of Insular Affairs. The final report is expected to be approved by the OIA and available to the public by the end of March. GMH also had an update on a replacement for their outdated electronic record system.
There is a company we are working with. So it's an affiliate of the current company, Cantara. So we're just, again, moving from we're doing a transition, an upgrade is really what it is. It's an upgrade of the current system.
Posadas says CareView will be replacing the outdated system and will include additional modules. The GMH board is expected to discuss the implementation of the new enhanced system at its next meeting scheduled for the end of this month. And over $500,000 is heading to the Port Authority of Guam. The U.S. Department of Transportation Maritime Administration awarded the port a $623,000 grant that will go toward upgrading its security surveillance system and its access control system. General Manager Rory Respicio says the upgrades will further enhance the port's core capabilities and resiliency. The administration has been partnering with the port over the last decade in modernizing its infrastructure. The action was as piping hot as the meals Domino's crew prepare every day for hungry and happy diners, as teams from throughout the Asia-Pacific region converged in Domino's Dededo for friendly but heated competition, putting their pie preparation skills to the ultimate test to claim the title of fastest pizza maker. And winning the coveted crown was Minori Yanamoto from Domino's Japan, who made 3 pizzas, pepperoni, mushroom, and cheese, and in an astounding 63 seconds. Congrats to all the winners for an amazing experience. Domino's is celebrating its 30th anniversary on island, providing delicious meals through delivery, carryout, and online orders. Coming up, Dave Delgado has sports and this week's Game Changer. Don't go away.
Make every day a plus.
Hold up, stop.
What?
You sure you want to do this? Because once you take that bite, there's no turning back to breakfast like this. Nope. Or this. Ooh. Or this.
Wow.
It's time to change your life. For breakfast. With freshly prepared, buttery, crispy McChicken biscuits and savory sweet chicken McGriddles. Now at McDonald's nationwide. Wake up breakfast.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. I'll get to some soccer results from the Budweiser Soccer League in just a bit. But first off, this week's Game Changer. Check it out. FD's Aiden Berdalio is a two-sport athlete who grew up playing basketball and volleyball in middle school. As he got older, his appetite for competition drew him towards contact sports in high school. The senior at FD suited up for the football team and is currently the starting tight head prop for the rugby team.
With contact sports, especially, just not being scared was what I found was the hardest part. Once you get past it, I found it was pretty easy. Just seeing the older guys, especially the juniors and seniors, just get into their contact sports, it really drew me in, and then it pushed me to work better. So coming to practice, I just saw how everything was working, and then I just worked towards that same goal.
Aiden has been a part of the Friars football legacy since his freshman year, winning 4 straight undefeated championships with the Maroon and Gold. He was a 2-year starter and was selected first team All-Island at guard this past season.
Playing football here at FD is definitely a part of our brotherhood. Just going to our games as one unit and just being with each other, cheering each other on, being each other's support. The legacy is something that is a great thing to be a part of. Gaining a record of 48-0 is a great honor to be a part of, and it's something that is higher than just one person and just our team.
The Friars won rugby championships his freshman and sophomore season. Berdalio became a starter his sophomore year, contributing to FD's title run. As a junior, the Friars fell short, losing in the championship game to the GW Geckos. The team is 3-0 in the GRFU ESA High School Rugby League, and Aiden has scored 3 tries this season.
Looking at last year's loss, I feel like we got a little too comfortable last season. This year is just more of a rebuilding. So even though we've had those championships in the past, now it gives us something more to work towards. It gives us more drive, more fuel to our fire.
He is a member of the campus ministry and sings in the choir. Aiden is an NHS student and class president who organized the school supply and playground equipment drive for kids at Price Elementary and San Vicente School.
Giving back to the community, it's something that the late Principal Tony Thompson taught me a lot about. He said, you're only as good as the good you give out. So that's what gave me the drive to just give back, whether it be as small, just giving a helping hand to a neighbor or doing something big. Just helping out has been my #1 goal.
Whether in the community lending a hand or in the classroom putting in the work, as an honor student, Aiden Berdalio is a go-getter, and that's what makes him a game changer. In soccer news, the Bank of Guam Strikers FC survived a scare by quality distributors, winning 2-1 to keep their undefeated winning record intact through Week 11 of the Budweiser Soccer League. Golden Boot race leader Marcus Lopez scored the eventual game winner for the Strikers in the 77th minute. Napa Rovers FC snapped Guam Shipyard's 3-match win streak with an 8-3 victory. Michael Crowley led all scorers with a pair of goals. Manhoban Lalahi defeated Lots of Art Tattoo Heat 9-4 with 2 goals each from Micah Hennigan, Daniel Glasscock, and Marcus Secchi. Islanders FC defeated the Sidekicks SC 6-1 with a hat trick by Noah Duenas.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist. Over 20 years of experience.
Half a day, I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Over the next few months, 2020 Census personnel will be coming to your villages. They will be visiting your homes, collecting information crucial to growing our economy and improving our healthcare, education, public safety, and so much more. Please join me in participating in the 2020 Census of Guam, because together we can shape our future for a brighter tomorrow.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
It is Thursday, the 13th of February, so here we go, everybody. Happy birthday! Leading off with Robert Wolford. Happy birthday, Dad. May you be filled with boundless love, blessings today, tomorrow, and beyond. We love you. Say, two very proud people, Jacob and Nia. We also have a couple of belated birthday wishes to send out. Born on the 12th is Emmett Cruz Lazama. Happy birthday, Emmett, to you from your loving family. Also born on the 12th, Caleb Mesa. Caleb celebrates birthday number 2, and your family is sending their heartfelt love. And Genoa Gogui, also born on February 12th. Happy birthday, Genoa. We love you so much. Say your adoring family. Hope everybody had an amazing, incredible, fantastic, remarkable birthday.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. That's going to do it from us here on Primetime. Thank you for watching and have a good night.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Green Energy Solutions, Inc.